Dr. Darren Miller. I'm a longtime educator here in the area. I actually got my start here at this campus, Washington Union. I was here as a teacher, counselor, vice principal back in the early 90s. Mr. Randall and your superintendent, Mr. Morris, were actually students of mine when I worked out here. Right now I'm working in Central Unified and doing some adjunct counseling at Fresno City College. Well, I'm here in honor of Black History Month. Of course, Black history is very, very important to me. It's part of the reason why I do what I do inside of the profession of education as well as outside in my community involvement. Everyone needs to understand and see real life examples of what African American success looks like. And I'm very, very happy to be part of the successful movement of African Americans, in particular in this area, in the area of education. Education is the foundation, a solid foundation to build everything that you do for the rest of your life. No matter what happens in the future, high school diplomas and college degrees can never be taken away from you. You can never go back and get them. And so I encourage all of my students, as well as anybody that I talk with, to make sure that they build their future on an educational foundation.
My name is Eric Payne. I'm the Executive Director of the Central Valley Urban Institute, and I'm a Washington Union High School alum. I'm the former BSU president, graduating class of 2002 of Washington Union High School, former editor at the Hatchet and the Panther Update, and a student athlete playing baseball, soccer, and golf. And in the FFA. Really excited to be here to speak to young people to talk about just the historic contributions that African Americans have made in our community and abroad, and to give young people an option, right? I once sat in the seat that they're sitting in, and it was a historical black college and university in the South that afforded me so many opportunities to leave my community, but to come back and to feed back into the young people of today that come from my neighborhood. I served 8 years in elected office, making history, serving in the White House administration under Obama as the director of federal initiatives under the Building Neighborhood Capacity Program, where I managed an interagency council of 14 federal agencies and a cross-sector partnership within the region, the Central Valley. So really excited to be here, and one of the things that I'll leave with the young people is do what makes you happy. And make sure that you're the best at it. So strive for excellence. We're all depending on you.
Hello, my name is Tate Hill II. I am the Executive Director of Access Plus Capital. It's a nonprofit that does small business lending here in Central California. And I am the son of Mr. Tate Hill, who has been an educator here for probably 35 plus years. And I'm here today just to encourage and support the young people, the students of the Black Student Union. Myself in high school was a Black Student Union president, and so definitely excited for this opportunity to engage the students and encourage them to pursue their educational dreams. No matter what disappointments or challenges that they have, that they can achieve and do well and have an impact in the community that they live in. And so, like myself, I've had the opportunity to do that, to support small businesses right in the communities that I live in, and just encouraging young people to leverage education for their goals and to always remember where they come from. You know, advice that I would give to students is, one, be true to yourself, to be determined in your goals. Make sure you also leverage the resources that you have. If there are family, friends, teachers that want to support them, allow them to support you, but be determined in what you want to do, and that persistence and determination will get you far.
Good afternoon and happy Black History Month, all of the students here at Washington Union High School. My name is Kimberly Tapscott-Munson, and I am Madam President of Fresno County Board of Education, first woman of color elected to the board. I am also the Community Engagement Consultant to Councilmember Miguel Arias for the City of Fresno for District 3. It is my honor to be with you today, and I'm excited to be here with you. And I'm also the CEO of KTM Consultant Services. It is an LLC that I created in order to be able to hold the position as a consultant to the city of Fresno. I am also an educator for California School Boards Association, CSBA, which is a dream job that was offered to me as well. So it allows me to represent through conferences and board meetings and trainings, and being able and blessed to hold these spaces and to carry forward your voices for my brown and black children. One of the joys that I have in my job as being president of Fresno County Board of Education is to serve the constituents in my territory. My territory consists of Kerman, Mendota, San Joaquin, Fireball. Then I come back into Fresno. I have Central Unified, and I come all the way down the territory of Fresno to Southwest Fresno and the southern portion of Fresno Unified School District. I have over 75,000 constituents in my territory, and it is a pleasure to be able to stand in these spaces and have and hold the spaces for the voices of all of my brown and black children. It's an honor to serve for you and to represent you, and I count it as a blessing. You are my legacy, and I will continue to serve for you. So it is indeed an honor to serve you and to be able to represent you at this high platform, and I count it as an honor and a blessing. Remember, you are our future. You are my legacy.
February, Black History Month. I want to thank Mr. Payne for sponsoring the food today. The Central Valley catering for all the food. All right, as we always do, we'll get started with our introduction.
All right, we got Dr. Darren Miller, who grew up in Southeast Fresno, graduated from Roosevelt High School in 1984. After high school, he attended Weber State University in Ogden, Utah, on a football scholarship. Dr. Miller returned home to earn 5 college degrees from colleges in the Central Valley. He has spent the past 33 years working in K-14 education as the vice principal and college counselor. He actually began his career at Washington Union as a homeschool liaison and football and basketball coach. Superintendent Morris and Mr. Randall were 2 of his students back in the day. Dr. Miller previously served on the Fresno County Board of Education and is currently a candidate for Fresno County Superintendent of Schools on the June 7th ballot.
Yes.
Eric S. is a Fresno, California native son of West Fresno. He serves as executive director of the Central Valley Urban Institute, a policy and advocacy nonprofit. He is a former White House site director under the Obama administration who led a neighborhood revitalization initiative for the Building Neighborhood Capacity Program, a place-based initiative in the city of Fresno, where he worked to secure millions of dollars in state and federal funds for community development in West Fresno. Mr. Payne was elected to the State Center Community College District Governing Board of Trustees in a historic win in 2012 when he was elected as America's youngest community college trustee, serving 2 terms governing Fresno City College, Clovis Community College, Wheatley Community College, and the new Fresno City College, West Fresno campus. He was also elected in 2018 by his peers from across the state of California to serve on the board of directors of the Community College League of California, which embodies over 100 community colleges from across the state. Mr. Payne has been featured in national publications like Black Enterprise magazine as one of the country's 100 men of distinction. He is a technical expert for the Joint Center for Political and Economic Studies, a White House think tank. He is an active member of Fellowship Missionary Baptist Church, board president of the West Fresno Community Development Corporation. He is an author and political commentator for KC 24, Sunday Morning Matters. Eric has a a BS in biology, and MS in biology with a concentration in microbiology from Alabama A&M University, and a certificate in health policy and leadership from California State University, Fresno. He enjoys listening to Ghana, Daniel Caesar, and John Legend. He is a Washington Union High School alum, and he was president of the Black Student Union, FFA member, ASB officer, editor of the Natchez newspaper and yearbook, producer of the Panther Update, varsity baseball, soccer, and golf team, and voted the senior class complainer with the ability to get the entire class out of an assignment by a teacher, the top 10 of his graduating class from Concord.
Okay.
Next we have Kimberly Tapscott-Munson. I quote, "I believe it is time to repair the ladder of opportunity for more of our students. I am proud to say that I am a mother, grandmother, and a wife. I am a proud graduate of local and private schools. As a retired school librarian, I have fought on the front lines for our kids and their parents. I know firsthand the challenges our students are met with every day. I have connected students with scholarships to ensure college affordability, brought in professional speakers to discuss career pathways in agriculture, technology, medicine, law enforcement, and military service. I have delivered for our students and parents. This is the approach I will bring as your school board member. I will fight for better schools, early learning, student success, jobs, and job training. I'll defend parents' rights and lead the fight for safe and clean drinking water in our schools. And I will work every day to keep our kids safe. I truly believe that through education, we can uplift our communities."
All right, Tate Hill the second. Does everybody know who Tate Hill the first is?
Nope. No.
Mr. Hill. Choir teacher.
Oh, for real?
Sorry, Tate.
You do side profile, you see it on the side.
In the side profile. All right. Tate Hill the second is the senior manager of administration at Access Plus Capital, a certified community development financial institution that offers financing, training, and asset development services for low and moderate income entrepreneurs through Central California. Access Plus serves 14 county regions in Central California and is a subsidiary of Fresno Economic Opportunities Commission, Fresno EOC, one of the largest community action agencies in the country. At Access Plus, Tate is responsible for fund development, investor relations, fund and grant compliance, special projects, and public relations. As the former president and CEO of the Fresno Metro Black Chamber of Commerce, he has an extensive network of business and service providers throughout the Central Valley and established regional programs including the Central Valley Business Diversity Partnership, the Women's Entrepreneurship Network, and the Fresno Green Team. He serves the community as a board member of the Green Lining Institute and the Fresno County Office of Education Foundation, and in various advisory capacities, including the Mayor's Advisory Council and the Southwest Pacific Plan Committee. He holds a MS in Community Economic Development from Southern New Hampshire University and a Bachelor's of Science in Business Administration, Finance from California State University, Fresno. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Tate Hill II. All right, so we will, of course, run past 1:40. Be sure that you sign in on that sign-in sheet going around, so I can be sure that I have your target clear. Okay? All right, so we'll dive into our questions, okay, panel members, and we'll start on the far end with Dr. Miller. Okay, so I know there is a lot that you do in our community. Can each of you take 1 to 2 minutes and tell us a little bit about your profession?
Well, I spent the last 33 years in public education, and as my bio said, I got my start right here in 1990. I was a homeschool liaison, chasing kids, making sure they came to school on a regular basis. Was able to go back to school, get a couple of master's degrees, and wound up coming back and was a vice principal here for a period of time, and Mr. Randall was one of my students at that time. I've moved that into now been a middle school principal, college counselor, doing lots of different things in the field of education. On the community side, I'm involved in lots of different community work. I'm actually, as they said, a candidate right now. I'm running, I'll be on the June ballot, running to be the top educator for all of Fresno County, the superintendent of schools. And so those of you who are 18 will have an opportunity to vote for me, and hopefully you will participate in that process, which I believe is also very, very, very important. One of the things I was reading in the front office was about, I'm not sure exactly if it was an expectation or whatever, but it talked about you guys being engaged citizens, okay? Not just being engaged here at school in athletics and activities and band and all, and clubs and those type of things, but also after you graduate, making sure that you're engaged in the community in some capacity. Whatever that may be, you need to be involved in a positive way to positively work toward getting positive outcomes from your community. And so that's what I've dedicated my work to, my life to, and my profession to.
Mr. Payne, same question.
Executive Director of the Central Valley Urban Institute. First, I want to say thank you to Mr. Randall for inviting me here today. For those of you who don't know, that is my oldest brother. And so... All right. I'm the better looking brother.
Don't let our mama hear y'all say that. I used to have hair like that.
I want to center like the work that we do because I think it's representative of you all, right? Like we want to make sure the Urban Institute, we advocate and we center black families. And so there were a number of young people that we had invited in an open invitation from Washington Union High School to participate in our HBCU college tour at Fresno City College. And if you went to that college tour this week, please stand up because I want to see you. And you were accepted. Stand up.
Yeah,
if you went, just really quick, let me know what college you were accepted to. Talladega College? Talladega College? What'd you say?
All of them.
All of them? Okay.
She was.
Period. That's what I remember when it was.
Okay, 4 HBCUs right here.
I got like 3, but
3.
Talladega College, okay, one of them. Okay, who in the back? That's my $54,000 scholarship recipient right there in the back.
Okay, girl. Yes.
Go ahead. Tell us what colleges you got accepted to.
Fort Valley, Philander, Airstone, and some other ones.
Awesome. All right, that's everybody. Am I missing anybody?
all in the back.
All the way in the back. Let me hear you.
Ms. Goodman, I know you need.
What college did you get accepted to?
All right.
Wilberforce University.
Okay.
Okay, I got you. That's one of them. All right, y'all can sit down. So yes. So we work with young folks around civic engagement opportunities, college and career readiness, and so your peers here in this room have benefited from the work at the Urban Institute. And so we do policy work. We've championed bills in the state legislature. If you were impacted or your family was impacted during COVID and you needed rent relief, we worked with the legislator and with our local city council to offer rent relief. Your utilities did not get cut off during the pandemic if you couldn't pay them. We worked with the California Public Utilities Commission to prevent those disconnection efforts. And then if you were able to utilize public transportation and you depend on facts, we were the ones at the front of the conversation of ensuring that the buses would be free to those that needed it. Because we know that many of the families that we work with, public transportation isn't just an option, but it's a lifeline. And so just really thankful for my team of folks here in the city of Fresno and Tulare that work every day to champion the needs and causes for black families in our community. We also center health equity. So if we look at the whole entire community around the social determinants of health, As a public health practitioner, one of the things that we want to do is those that come from trauma-informed environments. And what does that mean? It means if you come from an environment that's low income, you experience, gang activity, drug use in the community, gun violence. We work to help alleviate some of those needs. We look to provide basic needs for the families that we work with and for there to be a safety net. So I'm going to stop there and I'm going to pass the mic on over.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Very nice job. All righty. Good afternoon. I'd like to thank the staff here at Washington Union for giving us this opportunity to speak to you. Thank you, staff back there, for the wonderful food, deliciousness. Soul food is our culture, and it stirs our soul and feeds our soul as well. My name is Kimberly Tapscott-Munson. I am Madam President of Fresno County Board of Education, first woman of color elected to the board. Thank you, Boo. So obviously I need to update my bio because it didn't talk about, first of all, what's near and dear to me, my education. I have a library certification from Fresno City College. I have an AA in liberal arts from Fresno City College. I have an AS in library technology from Fresno City College. I also hold a BA in liberal arts from Fresno Pacific University. So education is key. Education is our ladder up. And without the paper, you can't get the paper. Okay. Yeah, I'll say it again. Without the paper, you can't get the paper. Okay. And there it is. A retired school librarian with 20 years of outstanding service to Fresno Unified School District. I'm looking at your library. We'll talk about that later. Yes. My last assignment was at Edison. I was there 5 years before I decided to run for office. As a matter of fact, the honorable, well, you always will be honorable to me. Tate Hill, we did run against each other in city council race, and he went on to the next level. Also, Darren Miller. So these are my brothers, and we had a very friendly race. So also, Trustee Payne is also another colleague. So we're all friends. We're all colleagues up here, and we all have a passion for our community, which we are up here sharing with you. So we always want to make sure that you remember community. Community is where we come from. Community is what we strive always to elevate and to represent in a positive manner. I am the community engagement consultant to Councilmember Miguel Arias for the City of Fresno for District 3. That is a consultant position that I hold also. I am the CEO of KTM Consultant Services, which was created in order to hold the other position. I am also an educator and a liaison consultant to CSBA, California School Board Association, where I am in spaces of planning, educating, reviewing, and teaching trustees that are new board members and holding spaces and voices for all of my students of color. And so I am at several times the only one that are on these meetings, making sure your voices are heard and your issues are being heard. So I'm standing in these spaces for you. I count it as an honor to be able to do so for you, and I'm very proud to be able to do it. My constituency territory is from Kerman, Mendota, San Joaquin Fireball. Then I come back into Fresno. I have Central and all the southwest portion of Fresno down to southwest Fresno. I have over 75,000 constituents in my territory that I represent. And so a lot of you fall into that area. I am rerunning for my position in November as well. So remember Kimberly Tapscott-Munson, and thank you very much.
So, two questions. Who likes money? Okay, good. And who would like to be able to control their own income, be their own boss? Be your own boss. Okay. Well, my organization, we help people with those two things. We give people money, and we help people who want to own their own business. And that's what my my career has been about, is helping people start their own business, help them think about their business plan, how to market it. And about 5 years ago, I came to the organization I'm at now, Access Plus Capital, and we're an alternative to the bank. Banks oftentimes don't give money for businesses that are a startup. Historically, they don't give money to people of color. They don't give money to businesses in certain neighborhoods, and that's all called redlining, where they literally would draw a red line around a certain neighborhood and say, we're not going to lend to people in that neighborhood. And organizations like mine were started to address that very issue. And so I've been, doing that kind of work really for the last 15 years. I started with a neighborhood-based organization called Fresno West Coalition, and we did a little bit of everything. We were right down the street from Edison, and I'm going to be nice because I'm at Washington Union. I'm not going to say nothing about Edison being the best high school, but I will be nice about that as a proud alumni.
All right.
But no, Washington Union is a great school. But I started working for a neighborhood organization that would help small entrepreneurs. Then I went over to the Fresno Metro Black Chamber of Commerce, where we were helping black businesses throughout the greater Fresno area. And now I am actually the CEO of Access Plus Capital. And so when folks come to get a loan from us, I'm the one at the end of the day that has to sign off
CEO.
On that loan.
Yes.
So just as a little inspiration, you had a little black boy that went to Franklin and Bethune, Computech, Edison, now running a financial institution managing $30 million in funding every year.
Yes.
And I have the ability to influence black businesses, Latino-owned businesses, people of color, folks in low-income neighborhoods to get the money that they need to be able to start their businesses and help their families.
Beautiful.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Beautiful.
Okay, panel, we're going to pick up the pace a little bit here. And we're going to start on this with Mr. Hill. What are some of the struggles as a black professional in Fresno that you face?
Being a black professional in Fresno, that's the struggle. Just in the financial world, when I graduated from Fresno State with a degree in finance, there weren't really any opportunities for me in the field. All my professors saying, hey, you got to go to the Bay Area, you got to go to LA. But I wanted to stay in Fresno. And so with that determination, I looked for opportunities, but I didn't really get a chance to use my finance degree until I came to Access Plus Capital 15 years later, almost, getting the degree. And so been able to have a network, of other peers. There's not that many black folks in finance. You go to a bank, there may be one black person.
Yep.
And so being able to find other people that can mentor and support you, that's a big challenge. But there are folks out there. You just have to be persistent in trying to find them.
Yep. Be the change in the world that you want to see. Once you gather your talents, bring them back to your community. Be that example that everyone needs to see. Because what we're seeing in the landscaping, we're not seeing our kids of color. We're not seeing our African American kids of color. When we go into the banks, I don't see us. When you go into the doctor's offices behind the counters, I don't see us. When we're looking at the doctorate programs that there are, the teaching programs that there are, I don't see you all there. I need to see you there. We've got pathways that we're creating for teacher pathways. We need you to be there, so that you are that example for the generation that's coming behind you. We need you all to step up and step out.
It wasn't that long ago when I sat where you're sitting, in this exact same library, having some of these exact same conversations.
Were these same books on the shelf? No.
Probably.
Probably. Yeah. I think, I would face my own set of challenges when I would leave this space, leave the classroom to go home, because we grew up in the dog pound. So if you knew anything about that neighborhood, you knew that in the late 90s, it was one of the most homicidal streets in America. Many of the barriers that you all are facing today in the neighborhood has gotten a lot better. But it's because you've had people like myself, like Tate, like Kim, like Dr. Miller, fighting on the front lines for you. I think it would have made all the difference for me at a time when I was graduating from Washington Union if there would have been a higher education institution in my neighborhood. I probably would have stayed. But I think God knew that there was something better for me in another place. And I had to make the hardest decision of my life at the age of 17, which was, do I stay here in Fresno or do I leave? And I packed up every last item that I owned, and I hopped on an airplane to Huntsville, Alabama, because I had chosen to go to a historical black college and university in the South. I'd never been that far away from home, and I'd never been away from my family for that long. But I had to make a personal decision for myself. And it was at that time when I made that sacrifice. And I had people tell me that I wouldn't be successful. Teachers that were here. And some of them are still here. And I think that everybody wasn't fortunate, like you all are, to have a Mr. Randall in the classroom, to champion your issues and your causes, and help eliminate and remove barriers for you as a black student in the classroom. I did what people said black folks couldn't do at the age of 17 and 18. They said, you don't major in the sciences. I did a dual degree in biology and chemistry. I graduated at the top of my class. They said, black folks don't get math and science. They said, black folks don't get terminal degrees. They don't get graduate degrees. I said, okay, well, what does that look like? I looked at all my options. I did the research. I was accountable to nobody but myself. And I applied to graduate programs. And I did my Master's of Science degree in STEM, in biology, with an emphasis in microbiology. It's the study of the human body, and the impacts of the built environment that are on the human body. And so, I did it with the support and love from my family, and with the self-determination, grit, hustle, and grind. Because that's all I knew coming from my neighborhood, that you was either going to get it one way, and that way was going to be into jail or into the casket, or you were going to do it the right way. And those are real decisions that you're going to have to make for yourself. And I think that's ultimately what I did. But one thing that I recognized, not just in the classroom teaching as an educator, or being the first African American and one of the youngest working for the Department of Defense, for AMDC, Army Missile Defense and Command, as a microbiologist, was that there are even more barriers in the workplace that I had to experience with being a black man. And that's something that I continue to carry with me throughout my career, even coming back to Fresno. Because one thing, my ultimate decision in coming back home was, I was teaching in the classroom and I said, these young people look just like the people that grew up in my neighborhood, the same young people that need somebody that looked like me to help champion these causes. And when I came back to Fresno, it was not on the top of my list to run for public office. It was because of the young people I was working with that encouraged me to run for public office. And because I did run, I was able to secure a $385 million bond to build a new community college campus on the west side.
Yeah.
And so that campus is going to offer public health associate degree, a social justice degree, nursing programs, an associate in business administration. all of the tools that folks in my neighborhood need to be successful in life. Because I can tell you one thing, that the system was set up to ensure that we failed. And that's put in municipal documents like our general plan that says black folks in the 1970s could not purchase homes on the other side of the train tracks because of the color of our skin. And that's why you have a high concentration of African American families that still live there today. That's why you are feeling the residue of redlining. Because I can tell you one thing, a lot of people that look like this room don't look like this room in other parts of the city. There are so many black folks and biracial folks in this space, because I can tell you I probably went to high school with half of your parents. And so what I'll say is the challenges don't get easier as you get older. You just have to learn how to navigate them. And one thing that I've never been is I've never been a punk. So I'm always gonna fight for what's right. I'm always gonna hold the line on the issues that are important to people that look like you and I, so we can be prosperous. So folks like Tate can do the work, right? Like he has an African American initiative that he's built, right? And he can't do it alone. Kim can't do it alone on the county school board. We have to have community when we push forward on these issues. Because I can tell you, Kim, when Trustee Mutton walks into a room, she's the only black woman at the table. So it doesn't get easier for us, but we have to learn how to work together, and we have to learn how to support each other. Because we can make the hood a better place, but it's going to take everybody.
Indeed.
So for me, the struggle is real. Being a black male is tough. When you're educated, it makes it even tougher. When you eliminate the term can't, I don't deal with can't. You tell me I can't do something, that's exactly what I'm going to do. And so the other thing that I think the other reason why I've had so many struggles is I define myself. So all these people told me I can't. Anybody know where Butler Park is? Yeah. In Southeast? That's where I grew up at. Okay, not as bad necessarily as Dog Pound.
Park boy?
Butler Park boy.
Dr. Miller.
Butler Park boy. Teenage father. My oldest son was born in April. I graduated in June. Daren can't go to college. You're gonna have to give up his scholarship. When I came back, when I first started working out here as a liaison, you can't be an administrator. You can't be a principal. Well, I went on and got my 2 master's degrees actually, and became a principal. Worked in Madera Unified for 15 years. Got my doctoral degree. I'm a doctor of education.
Yes, you are.
And they would. There is a burden that comes along with that, though. Okay? Madera Unified would not hire me as a principal. And I'm one of the most educated men in that district at that time. So I took him to court, sued him, and won. Multi-$100,000 discrimination lawsuit. Ultimately, because I defined myself, I was able to walk away from Madera Unified, with some pennies in my pockets and be able to take care of my parents. So those, I know everybody knows who my parents are. Well, you guys don't, but I just lost both of them. And I was able to take care of them because of me defining myself. Not being defined by being a black male teenage dad, being a black male athlete, the dumb athlete syndrome. Forget all that. The way you overcome those obstacles is by defining yourself and eliminating the word can't. Because the reason they tell you can't is because there's value in it. Ain't nobody gonna tell you to do something, allow you to do something for free that's got value to another person. They're telling you that you can't do it because they want it for themselves. Okay, so if there's 2 things I can tell you coming out of this old gray beard, bald head dude. Define yourself. Okay? I know he got bald head too. he got greasy. He's doing the greasy thing. So the 2 points that I'll give you, and this is also true for the females that are in the room. Define yourself. Don't let society define you.
Yes.
Okay? And eliminate the word can't.
Yes.
Okay? If you do those 2 things, you'll be successful in whatever you put your mind forward to do.
Yeah, you have to tell me no 3 times. Right.
So we've been talking about community, okay, and we'll start again on Dr. Miller's end down there. What are some of the other organizations that you belong to?
Ooh, we ain't got that much time.
You should ask for our resume for that.
So I am. Let me pick some scabs.
There you go. Right.
I am a member of the oldest African American fraternity created for college-educated men.
Go on, Bree.
Black and gold. I don't have my colors on today, but Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated.
Tell them about the Divine Nine.
The Divine Nine.
The Divine Nine.
There's 9 organizations.
Yes.
5 fraternities for the men, 4 sororities for the ladies. We're Big Brother. They'll tell you about their story, but the Alphas are Big Brother. So I'm a proud member of that organization. Been a proud member since 1985, so 37 years or so. I'm involved in the Democratic side of the ledger in politics, so all the Democratic clubs. I'm a member of those. I'm involved in all kind of other social organizations that are here in the community, in the Greater Valley, actually, not just in Fresno, but in the Central Valley area.
Yeah.
Seniors, on your scholarship form, males in particular, there is an Alpha Phi Alpha scholarship on there. Okay, be sure that you are registering for that. Young ladies, there's Delta Sigma Theta scholarship on there, as well as Sigma Gamma Rho scholarship on there is there.
Hold on now.
You gotta give me a link, and I can get an AKA. I haven't heard about an AKA scholarship.
Yes, we have.
Well, I need the link to share with the students.
You know, us Greeks are serious now. Right.
Mr. Payne?
Some organizations that I'm affiliated with and support, the NAACP, if you're familiar, raise your hand, is a national civil rights organization. They have collegiate chapters and they have regional chapters. I do work with the Black Capitol Staff Association. I'm a member of that. That's in the Capitol Hill in Sacramento. It's where if you are a lobbyist, if you're part of the Third House, if you are a staffer to a member, you can gain membership into the Black Staff Association. So that's one thing. And then the California Asset Building Coalition, the Anti-Poverty Coalition, the Housing Work Group Coalition for the state of California, all affiliations that I have relative to the issues that we work on. The California Black Healthcare Network Coalition, looking at black healthcare issues. If there is an issue that you are passionate about, there is an organization that you can join. And one thing that I'll say is there is not enough of folks that look like you and I that are at the table having these conversations. One of the things that I always say, if you're not at the table, then you're on the menu. So it's important that you be a champion and advocate for those issues that are important to you. I'll pass the mic.
Oh my God, I should have brought my resume. No. Where do I start? First of all, near and dear to my heart, I am an AKA Alpha Kappa Alpha. Yes, indeed, we are the first and the finest.
Of the ladies. Of the ladies.
Of the ladies, yes. It's a sorority.
Okay, serious, yeah.
Yes, it is a sorority. It is the first black sorority that was created. Thank you. Okay, so let me go down the line in order. I am the first vice president of the NAACP in Kings County. I am the hospitality chair of the WAPA, Black Women Organized for Political Action. I am also a member of BAPAC. Thank you. Okay, let's see. I am member at large of Stonewall Dems. I am a member of the NWPC. I am on the executive board of the Central California Girl Scouts Executive Board, because they came to me and said, Kimberly, we need some diversity on the board. They said because Girl Scouts has a stigma of only being for little white girls. And I am a Girl Scout. I was a Brownie and a Girl Scout. So I said, yes, I will come and help you spread the world that once a Girl Scout, always a Girl Scout.
What's a brownie?
A brownie is the first
girl?
level, the brownie, and then you become a Girl Scout. So it's a 5-year-old. It's the 5-year-old.
So you were a brownie?
So you're a brownie first, and then you're a Girl Scout.
You ever a cookie?
Yeah, but it's cookie season. It's cookie selling season. it. But after the 28th, you can actually order cookies on Uber Eats.
Whoa, wait a minute.
So, I know, right? We get with it. And they have it mixed in with ice cream, too, at one of the ice cream shops. Okay, so I'm on the, and I'm not done yet. And then the Girl Scouts Central Committee, and, I think I'll stop there.
There we go.
We're busy. We're all very busy on lots and lots of boards, and we don't get paid for it. It's community service that we do because we're involved. Because like he said, if we're not at the table, then you're on the menu. We are on these boards because we're representing your voices.
Mr. Hill?
So I used to be involved with a lot of different organizations, but now choose to use my time differently. And so, so for me, my work is community work. And so involved there. But for example, I'm very involved with my church organization, Church of God in Christ. We just did a scholarship banquet just last week and raised about $5,000 that to be able to support students here in Central California. But I would say, you know, encourage you, whether it's with a group, because nowadays it's also different. You can be engaging through social media. You can be a part of a Facebook group or something on IG or something else. There's different ways to connect with folks, right? And it doesn't have to even just be, you know, nowadays you don't even have to just be connecting with people in Fresno, right? You can be connecting with people in other countries. Part of my heritage, my grandfather lived in Mexico. And so I got like really interested in Afro-Mexicans, right? And I'm a part of a social media group that looks at issues around Afro-Mexicanos there in Mexico and film and everything else. So, I'm not in Guadalajara right now, but I can connect with folks in Guadalajara and talk about issues around African Mexicans, right? And so I encourage you to find the pathway that makes the most sense for you. I'm a supporter of black businesses. I make sure my dollar, if there's a club that I want to join the club that supports local businesses. Join the club that supports local black businesses or people of color. And so, so making sure that whatever you join makes sense for you, that you're committed to it, and that it has value in your personal life.
So one of the things I forgot that I do, and I got a game at 3:30, is for the last 30 years I've been refereeing basketball, football, and now softball in the area. And so I may have had some of you guys in the games. And I've got a 3:30 game, a softball game at Central that I got to get to. So again, it's my honor and pleasure to meet all of you. I apologize for having to do that early. But remember, get rid of can't and define yourself, and you'll be fine in the future.
Can you do your dance?
What's that?
Yeah.
What's that? Hey, I gotta go do a softball game. My knee is swell up, so I can't do that.
I'll get that plate.
See you guys.
Let me get that plate.
All right, I think Mr. Payne may have a few questions. He has some prizes to raffle off for you guys.
Okay. Wait a minute.
All right. So it's Black History Month. And so the Central Valley Urban Institute organization has sponsored a couple of items for you today around Black history. So Mr. Randall has the first question, and then if you get it right, come on up, and then we'll give you the first prize.
So we have a graduate of Washington Union High School who is a gold medal Olympian in the 1976 Montreal Olympics. Carlos. Maxie Park. Maxie Park.
Woo!
Hey, were you studying that? Were you studying that? Wait, you don't see that? Were you paying attention? Were you paying attention?
All right. So a $25 gift card for Netflix.
Hold up, wait a minute.
All right, go ahead. Question.
This former NFL player, former Fresno State linebacker, is a graduate of Washington Union in the early 80s. Also went on to win a Super Bowl with the Green Bay Packers. Who is it? You related to him. You better know. Yeah, okay, come on. Ron Cox.
Ron Cox. Washington Union alum.
Think about that shit. That's your cousin. That's your cousin.
All right.
So those who don't know, Tracy is related to Ron Cox.
Hey, come on.
All right.
Former Washington Union football.
Let's do a non. Okay. $25 gift card for DoorDash. Membership. Black history. All right. Who is the person that refused to give up their seat on the bus? Yes. Next, we got a $25 gift card for Uber or Uber Eats.
Girl Scout cookies. Girl Scout cookies.
All right. So the question is, he is the first African American to perform a blood transfusion. They named. Listen. You gotta listen. They named a university after him in Los Angeles, in the Willowbrook neighborhood, right here.
Dr. Charles.
Yes. All right. That's it.
All right, so we got a few moments. Talk to your neighbor. Make sure the question is something that is of value. We got a few moments to take maybe 2 or 3 questions if you have a question for our panel members. Talk to your neighbors. Make sure there's a good question. You ready? All right, we have a question right here.
Like a lot.
Well, I think we need to discuss.
We don't work for free.
But I think we need to discuss the difference between being a voluntary board member, okay, as well as your versus your employee.
Yeah. How much do you make as CEO?
No, we can't get into that.
Now, how that mean?
Well, working in finance, and the finance industry in general will get you a 6-figure salary.
How much? How much? 6 figures. 6 figures.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, over $100,000. Now, of course, that could be from $100,000 to $900,000. That's all in a 6-figure. That's 6-figure.
That's not million, bro.
So, but there a lot of times the work that folks are doing, community work, a lot of times that's volunteer. But one thing I encourage you, as you're thinking about like expanding your career, do internships. And I'm a personal believer of doing paid internships. We've already done enough free labor in this country, and so I encourage you to do paid internships. And actually, right now, there's a lot of opportunities for young people just to work good old regular jobs. I mean, my nephew just graduated from high school. He's making $18, $19 an hour. I'm like, that took me a long time to make $18 an hour. An hour. He just worked at Walmart, making $18, $19 an hour. So
through Measure P, and that's for all of our parks jobs. So we want to make sure that our kids have filed applications with the city of Fresno. There is a fingerprint process, but with your fingerprints, all that does is get you in line for the jobs, because all jobs through the city of Fresno require fingerprints. So it's just the norm. And so when those fundings come down for Measure P, you'll already be in the system and ready to go. We do paid internships in our office as well. So if you're interested, you can shoot me an email. I'll leave my cards behind for that. But we don't work for free. I mean, it's good to do your seniors that need to do your volunteer hours. Those are available through our Beautify Fresno events that we're doing throughout the city. You can get your senior hours through those events, and they're held all throughout the city of Fresno. They're widely publicized. And also up at Allensworth, there are some community opportunities available there as well. Did any of you go down for the Black History event that they had last weekend? To Allensworth, to our state park? How many of you know about Allensworth?
I didn't know.
How many of you do not know about Allensworth? Okay, go ahead and give them a little history, sir.
Allensworth is the first African-American settlement in the state of California. What does that mean? It means that during the Jim Crow era, during a dark time in our country's history, where we talk about some of the civil rights icons like Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King, African-American families were flooding the South for better land and better treatment. And so the first settlement in California was right outside it's in Tulare County, which is our neighboring county, which is about an hour and 12 minutes away. And there were about 400 African-American settlers who lived in this compound. They had their own church. They had their own barbershop. They had
their own city.
Yeah, it was a bustling metropolis in Tulare County. And then because right, there are a number of issues that transpired where the state tried to come in and take their land. And right now, there's a large amount of guilt that Sacramento is feeling from taking land from black families. They just returned Bruce Beach in Los Angeles back to its the family of Bruce. And so now we're starting to have conversations around reparations for black people in our state. And the country is watching us. The Central Valley is at the center of this conversation because we are the first African-American settlement in the state. And so we'll be having some of those conversations on Friday at Fresno State. We're bringing in a Grammy-nominated poet, the Songbird. You've probably seen some of her videos go viral in the last month. She's going to be here dropping some spoken word for us. And we have the chair of the Reparations Task Force who's going to be here, legal counsel Camila Moore from Los Angeles. We have Deborah Mann from the Greenlighting Institute out of Oakland who's going to be there. And it's going to be a great time, and we want to invite you all to come. And we're going to have more good food by Chef B in the back. Hey. All right.
Where are they located at?
And that's going to be at Fresno State Friday. Fresno State in the library Friday at 5:30.
All right. So I do have to get us back to class. We know how we ended. I do want to thank our panel members. And we know we got to get our picture before we leave.
Follow me on social media. I am Eric Payne. Instagram, Twitter. I am Eric Payne. All right.